welcome back to SceneTV. I'm Marcus, and we are at the Adelaide Festival Centre again for more of the Adelaide Cabaret Festival. Sitting alongside me is the artistic director, Eddie Perfect. How are you, buddy?
Good, Marcus. How are you?
Not too bad. Welcome to SceneTV.
Thank you. Thank you.
What do you think of our luxurious lounge?
I love your luxurious lounge. Did it all come in like a car or something? It was a sedan, you stick it in the back?
Yeah, it was essentially a flat pack, and we just popped it in and like boop, 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 boop,
good work.
And here we go. Not too bad, hey?
It's really nice.
Is it cabaret worthy?
It is cabaret worthy. I know there's a bit of Kmart going on.
There is just a touch. You know what?
We've got a lot of Kmart furniture in our house. Kmart is going off at the moment.
It is very much going off. You know what? Interior design, off track a little bit. Interior design is about blending elements, you know. So you don't want to go in and do your whole house with IKEA. You want to have bits and you know,
or do
that's
you?
the key. Or do you? Or do you? Depends on your budget. But we digress, don't we? Let's get back to what we're actually here about. We are here about Adelaide Cabaret Festival. How proud are you? Tell me.
Oh, immensely proud. I mean, it's one of those weird things where, like, it's hard to be too proud because the performers are the ones that have to bring it. And you know, what I love about live theatre is that nothing's kind of guaranteed. Some of these shows have been running a little bit, so we kind of know what we're getting.
Yep.
Others are artists that we know and trust, and we're just really excited to see what work they've got. Some of it is, you know, some of it is been running, but we haven't had a chance to see it. We've only seen clips and stuff. But so you do sort of roll the dice a little bit on things, and what you never know is whether your taste is going to be simpatico with an Adelaide audience, but so far people seem to be really having a great time.
I think they're lapping it up. Have you seen anything thus far that really stands out for you?
I've seen lots of things. What have I seen so far? I absolutely loved Tripod, This Gaming Life, with the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra and Austin Wintory conducting. That was like being inside a Hans Zimmer film. I've never heard brass so loud. It was insane. The full force of the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra was on show. And it's a really smart, touching, funny, interesting show. And then in the same festival theatre took my kids to Frank Woodley, The Composer is Dead, with the ASO as well, and that was really gorgeous. And yeah, it's been terrific. We had movie night last night, and Reg Livermore was here to introduce his the live filming of his 1978 solo show, Betty Blockbuster Follies.
Yep.
And that was incredible. It was a shot on stock, a shot on film. So it totally holds up in terms of the way it looks. It looks beautiful. And what's amazing is there are heaps of shots of the audience, and it's like, you know, this daggy Sydney audience in the 70s. It's just so great, you know. And you know, well, those people will be, you know, 37 years older than that now.
Yeah, of course.
It's an amazing little time capsule.
Oh, I mean, we're still quite youthful. We're holding on to it quite nicely.
Yeah. I was 1 in 78, and I was 38 now, in case you're wondering. I'm not that good at maths. I just deducted from my own life.
Cabaret, though, isn't that great? I mean, I think, you know, that's what you've absolutely managed to garner, I think, for this season specifically, is, you know, showcase how diverse cabaret actually is. You know, we can go back to the 70s. You know, we can go to something absolutely current right now. You know, for example, Otto and Astrid's show, you know, something you know, you don't know what you're going to get. You know? So, you know, with the tagline, what comes next? Almost everything.
Yeah, it is a really broad church cabaret, which is great. And we've done a few things that are like, that I think are like a little bit sneaky. Or I think your job as an artistic director, at least the way Ali and I see it, is you can't fall into a trap of just giving people exactly what they want. You always have to give them something that's appealing, but that's going to push the conversation forward a little bit. And that's why we've done some things like bookending things. One of the really big things we wanted to show was that Australians more than hold their own against other cabaret artists in the world. And you know, that we really wanted to make sure we keep smashing the cultural cringe in their head, because it's a fallacy. You know, like, Australians have taken to cabaret, and because there's no rules in Australia, there's a real freedom and daring with the way Australian cabaret artists approach the form. So I'm really excited by things like, so we had Dita Von Teese the other night in the Festival Theatre, massive hit, huge sellout show. Dita plus a whole bunch of other burlesque artists, and you know, very much in a kind of a vintage Varga Girl style. It's all opulent, it's all Swarovski crystals, it's all, you know, it's kind of like right in the pocket what you would think burlesque would be. It's got a real authentic feel to it. And that's really great to have that represented, and it's really great to present the best of what's happening in burlesque overseas. And there's no one sort of higher up the food chain than Dita. But at the end of the festival, we've got the birds, more, Finnegan and Smith's piece, the birds. Yeah. And what's really great is that we get to, hopefully, the audience who are interested in burlesque who went along to Dita will come along and see how an Australian company takes that form, throws all the rules out, pays no homage, unless it's sort of an ironic homage to that kind of classic burlesque, and just creates a completely new piece of theatre with that form. And I think people will see they're wildly different, and it's really exciting to see how an Australian company is interpreting that art form, and to be able to compare it to what Dita did the other night. That's what excites me. Of
course. And look, we've been chatting with SceneTV to, some of the UK artists, whether it be Barb Younger or, the American artists, Amy G, et cetera, Lance Horne just recently. And everyone's saying, the Adelaide Cabaret Festival has got such a great reputation all around the world now.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
So clearly we're doing something right.
Well, yeah, what is really easy to lose sight of is the fact that, yes, these cabaret artists perform all over the world, and they don't just perform in cabaret festivals. They'll either perform at at a festival where there's a Spiegel tent, or there's some kind of dedicated after hours kind of cabaret venue, or they'll be part of a fringe festival like Edinburgh, or they'll be part of a comedy festival like Melbourne Comedy Festival, or anywhere like Just for Laughs in Montreal. And so they're all playing a lot of different venues and a lot of different festivals, but none of those are a dedicated cabaret festival where you don't have to be any one particular thing. You just have to be really good. And the other thing that people kind of take for granted is that cabaret performers get changed in toilets. They get changed in tiny green rooms where there's like to share it with 20 other people, or do mountables, or like temporary venues. They have to have quick turnovers with other shows. They hardly get to tech their sound. They kind of rush in with a suitcase. They've got 10 minutes while one other artist is getting off the stage to quickly put their stuff all over the stage. Then they go, and often the sound is substandard. The tech calls are short. The technicians are good, but they can only do very basic things. Whereas they come over here, and the thing that distinguishes this festival is that everything sounds amazing. It's one of the Adelaide Festival Centre is one of the best sort of teched out sound systems in every venue. Everything sounds pristine, and it just means it's just a joy. Everyone walks down the stage, they sound check, they hear what's going on with the monitors, they hear the house, they hear how clear the band is, how beautifully drums are mic'd, how much richness there is in a double bass, and everything just sits in this wonderful place. It's an amazing experience for a performer to have sound like that, and it's amazing for an audience. And I think that's one of the big heroes of this, is that you could see the same show in two different venues, but if you don't get that sound design right, it's just a write-off. So that's what's really exciting.
It's got the quality. Yeah,
it's got probably the best sounding kind of festival I've ever been to.
Now, you've been involved in the Adelaide Cabaret Festival over the course of the last few years because you have performed, you've had your own show in it, haven't you? Is it Shame Won the Musical? Is that correct?
Yeah, I first came here in 2004 with the show, actually 2003 with the show called Cliffhanger Catch a Falling Star. And then a year after I did my own first solo show, Angry Eddie. But I've come back with Matt Gillies and did The Big Con. I've done, I did my show Miss Anthropology here, I did Songs from the Middle here, and I did Shame Won the Musical twice. I did the very first workshop presentation in 2007 under Julia Holt, where we just sort of got a cast together, had 5 days rehearsal and a band, and we did a presentation. Yep. And then I brought it back with an orchestra, so we did it again with a 24-piece orchestra.
Yeah, great.
Just about two or 3 years ago. So I've been coming back here, yes, for 13 years now.
Essentially your second home. Well, I mean, your wife is an Adelaide girl anyway,
she is,
isn't she?
Yeah.
So being the creative director, as opposed to someone that performs with the show or these shows, do you find that you miss doing the performing side of it? Aside from the fact that you're on, backstage club here and there, blah blah blah. But do you miss performing?
Yeah, well, what gets me excited about this festival is that, if I was doing a show really anywhere in Melbourne. It's usually with a rhythm section, bass, drums, keyboards, and it's small in its scope. What I love about Adelaide Cabaret Festivals, there's the ability to scale that up and have more musicians. And as I go along, I really like, because the stuff that I write, the music that I write for the theatre, is all theatrical story-based telling, whether it's comedic or dramatic or whatever. The music tells as much of a story as the lyrics do, and it's really important to have. If you sometimes playing with the rhythm section can feel like you're painting in grayscale, and then as soon as you get a larger ensemble, you have all these different colours and textures you can play with, and I find that it really helps storytelling. Like the difference in showing more the musical with a rhythm section and then doing it with a 24-piece orchestra was profound, because suddenly, you can reference Broadway, you can reference Bollywood, you can reference funk and hip hop and soul and gospel in a way that's much more expansive. And so being here and seeing, the ASO play and seeing, doing the variety gala and having a big band, it's really made me kind of excited about putting a big band show together and maybe doing it here next year.
Let's talk about your co-artistic director. How has it been collaborating with Ali?
It's really great. It's really great. No one knew how it would work. I mean, it was basically, the idea came about because both Ali and I, were running our own careers and doing our own things, and we just thought it would halve our workload, and just have someone to collaborate with would be good. So the pressure didn't all fall on one of us. And the great thing is that I would like the idea straight away, even though I'm normally like a real control freak with stuff. Since the idea came up about doing it with Ali, I was like, that's a no-brainer, because Ali has worked with everyone. She understands where cabaret is at, all the new artists. She's got a real fringe sensibility. So she, had a list, a mile long of all the people that she wanted to bring out. And so she was chock full of ideas. And I was really interested in, and I still am, I'm interested in writers and writing and new works and collaborations and allowing artists to create something for the Cabaret Festival so that it starts here. So by the time my time's up here, I can point and go, we made all of these new shows. These shows didn't exist, but they had a life that was born in Adelaide. So we've got really similar tastes, but slightly different interests that complement each other. So it's great.
Yeah, good for you. You know what? We're going to wrap this up now with a little game.
All right.
We like to throw some fun around,
Okay.
It is called word association. Clearly, you know that one.
I should be lying.
Put you on the spot. Boom,
should
bang.
be lying down.
Okay.
Therapy.
So let's start off with Adelaide.
Wine.
Family.
Kids.
That was okay. That's good. Adelaide Cabaret Festival.
Excess.
Ali McGregor.
Smart.
Dee Fontees.
Sexy.
Sex.
Busy.
And winding up with SceneTV.
SceneTV. Flying the flag.
Oh, go you. Awesome. We have been with Eddie Perfect. You've been watching SceneTV. We're going to see you for some more very shortly. And we'll see you soon.
Ciao.